I'm always on the lookout for the dumbest take on the Trump assassination, and I keep checking back in with certain people to try and see who's gonna jump the snark this week, right? So here comes Alex Jones, and this I was intrigued. I gotta say, I was intrigued by the title of this one. Learn what really happened to Trump's ear during assassination attack. Assassination attack. What, attempt doesn't sound macho enough? Is that it? All right. Alex Jones report. Okay. That's adorable. Alex Jones reports. Do you now? Is this a report? Are you reporting on new details? Are you, Alex? Give us the report, shall we? Okay.
FBI confirms Donald Trump was struck by a bullet during July 13th assassination attempt.
Or shrapnel. Bullet or shrapnel. The actual statement was bullet or shrapnel.
And here are folks showing the AP photo blow-ups of him in recent interviews. You see the groove out of the cartilage where it's just a little bit darker because that's because cartilage, again, is different than normal flesh.
Jesus Christ. Cartilage is different than normal flesh. It's healing, shithead. Bruises, cuts, scrapes, everything's darker for a good long while, especially if you're fucking old.
Flesh. And then once the blood's gone through it, it lightens up. You can see just the nick right there in the ear. And there's the blow.
Right. The bullet did not travel that way. And he was not leaning this way when it came by. So the idea that a piece of glass went that way makes just as much sense. Also, let's say the bullet hit the teleprompter and it shattered part of the bullet off and a piece of the bullet grazed his ear. Same thing. Nobody gives a fuck. The fact that you're shot at enough, you don't, again, you're talking to the guy, folks, who believes that attempted murder should get the exact same prison sentence as murder because just because you're a fuck up doesn't mean you're not the kind of person who would try again, right? You don't get a do-over because you tried to kill somebody. It's just as serious as if you were successful. Yeah? Why not? Why is attempted murder less of a charge than murder? You fuck up? It's almost even worse because if you grind on it for a few years and get out of jail after 6 years instead of 15, then you're like, all right, this time I won't miss. Like, what? All right. Anyways, point being, who cares if it was the bullet, a fragment of the bullet, or a piece of the glass? Not the point. Somebody shot at him, and it was one of your own. It was probably somebody who watched your show, Alex.
Blow up of it. See, just a piece of the cartilage is gone.
You do realize that the fact that you have to blow up his ear this big to the size of, like, your head, that this makes you look like even more of an asshole. Right? I mean, why don't you get out a mass spectrometer while you're at it?
It just nicked him.
If you could see right here, the bacteria that used to live on his ear, this is the kind of bacteria, if you really look at it, that lives on skin tissue. And then there's a separate set of mite that lives only on cartilage. And you'll see that there's a cluster of, oh shit, he's got head lice. Fuck, those are bed bugs. He's been back to Bedminster. This is nasty.
But they, all the left says no, that hit, it has such force, the whole ear comes off. No.
No, you can be grazed by a bullet. A whole bullet can graze you. If a whole bullet hits your ear, in the center of it, it could tear it right the fuck off or go right through it. But that's not the point.
That's not how it works.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, grazed. He was grazed. This is what a graze looks like. His ear wasn't hit by the bullet. His ear was grazed by the bullet. But you motherfuckers think the fact that he was grazed by a bullet is less important than if he was hit by a bullet, and I'm saying it's not.
If you hit maybe a millimeter in here towards the middle and it got enough pressure hitting bone and the bone exploded, then it would blow the ear off. But if it nicked,
excuse me, crisis actor, aren't you the dude who sent his friends and fans to piss on the graves of toddlers who died at Sandy Hook? And I want to listen to you fucking work out whether Trump was nicked or hit and the difference between a nicking. He was nicked for fucking democracy. You happy now?
I can't tell you how many times I've been shooting at Cactus, as a target. You drive out in the countryside and there's a cactus.
Yeah, just, and then you're like, oh shit, that's just somebody waving at a friend who's wearing a green shirt. Yeah, you just stop at the middle of nowhere and shoot cactus on other people's lands like an asshole.
500 yards away, and it's about, it's prickly pear. It's about, the one prickly pear piece you're shooting, it's about 10 inches tall, about 6 inches wide. You want to use.
Yeah, still. Dude, it's taking up the whole fucking screen. That's a nick. That is. That's and I think the most important thing of this entire fucking video, this entire fucking segment, the crucial aspect of this, if you want to drill down to the essence of just how fucking stupid Alex Jones is. If you want to get to the simplest and the cleanest idea of what's just madness in this clip, is that the guy who mocked the dead at Sandy Hook wants us all to sit around while he parses this wound on Donald Trump's ear by blowing up to the size of his entire screen. This is an AP shot of Trump's ear blown up for the whole goddamn screen, right? So he can argue whether he was shot or nicked or grazed, or whether it was a bullet or a piece of glass or a piece of bullet, or if he fell on the ground and his thumbnail was nasty and like unevenly cut because he's been chewing them lately because he knows he's going to lose the election, and so he's gnawing on his fucking. And when he put his hand up to his ear because it whizzed past, he cut his own ear with his thumb and then fell on the fucking ground. Right? Maybe that works too. Does it change the fact that somebody shot at him? No. Who cares? You don't get more heroic the more wounded you were in that kind of a situation, and you don't even automatically become heroic, period, because he just dropped to the ground and saved his own life. You know who was a hero? Corey Comparator, who I'm sure I would get into screaming matches with that dude about politics, but you got to give it up to him that he protected his family with his own body and he fucking died. And you'll notice Alex is not doing how long is this? I'm not going to do the whole thing, but 32-minute segment on the wounds that Corey Comparator got. That doesn't seem odd. That didn't seem like a major moral discrepancy. Because there's a chance that a bullet nicked his ear right there. There's also a chance that he hit a ketchup packet behind his ear, and he cut his ear a couple of days before with a nose hair trimmer that's round and created a small groove in his ear because he went down, and they just figured out, we got to figure out a way to cover this up.
Use it as a target. I'll even get a black marker out, a Sharpie, and I'll put a black dot right in the middle. And then you start shooting at it while you're sighting the gun in. And the gun isn't perfectly sighted in. You hadn't shot it in a few years. It was banging around the back of the pickup truck. And it...
Yeah. Wait. Let me just, before we blow the rest of this nonsense off, can I just further... So how many folks believe that in the last few years, with how hot it gets any given time of the year, or even how cold it gets in Texas the last couple of years, that this barrel of beans gets out of his fucking truck on private and or public property, walks 500 yards to a cactus in the middle of nowhere to draw a little dot on it with a fucking Sharpie, then walks 500 yards back to his fucking truck to shoot at it. Does anybody believe that? In like remotely? No. This asshole is not doing his entire exercise for the fucking year in the middle of a field. Get the what? This asshole isn't walking 500 yards anywhere.
Nicks the top of the prickly pear. And you drive up and look at it, use a spotting scope, and you just see this little perfect nick through the top, the little cut on the top. That's exactly the same thing. And I would say prickly pear is kind of...
What? Yes, Trump is a prickly pear. You're a lunatic. This is bullshit. And I'm going to say that prickly pear is a crisis actor. And if you try to put it on television, I am not going to believe that it was actually shot. And I'm going to pee on its base at some point, which will probably do it some good because, cactus aren't, beggars can't be choosers when it comes to the liquid in the desert.
Kind of like cartilage. It's like plant cartilage. It's tough. It's fibrous. It's very similar to that. A little juice comes out of it, but in an hour you can't really see it because it just seals up. It's the same thing. And then you keep shooting, and then
No, it's not the same thing. Not at all. And by the way, learn what really happened to Trump's... I just want to remind you what this is called. Learn what really happened to Trump's ear during assassination attack, Alex Jones reports.
And after you dial the scope in, you're hitting right in the bullseye. You've drawn on the pickly.
No, you are not. You cigar-chomping, liquored up fuck. You are absolutely not.
A little secret on having to buy any targets. You just use prickly pears. Sometimes I'll use, if they're, if it's that time of the season, the spring or summer, prickly pear fruits. You can use that as your bullseye and try to blow those off.
So, all right, sorry, I fell asleep when you were boring me. So you blow prickly pears, something about pricks, in the summer season or in the spring? When is it? Is it around May Day or June?
That's just a little inside baseball there on that front. So here it is.
That's not inside baseball, dummy. Inside baseball would be from the point of view of the asshole whose land you are trespassing on, going, that Alex Jones motherfucker shows up here all the time and shoots at my fucking cacti that I'm growing on my property, that my grandkids and everybody like to look at because we're trying to grow them big and tall. And this asshole thinks he can roll up and just openly fire on them on our property. But Trump said his doctor said he was in better shape than Obama. Obama plays basketball. Trump will not walk off the... No, he didn't carry his own bag. None of that shit.
And then right here is the left showing it with his hair over the part that got nicked and saying, where's the bullet wound?
First of all, this motherfucker. And by the way, Alex Cole, good on you. Yeah, Trump wore that shit on his ear just to trick Americans. Yeah, to make them think the wound was bigger than it was. His ear was not hit by a bullet. His ear was nicked by a bullet or a shard of bullet or a shard of glass. Doesn't change the fact that somebody tried to shoot at him. That's not the point. The fact that these assholes have to make it that he was hit by a bullet, otherwise his mythology dies, is what's pathetic about it. Can you think of anybody else that Alex Jones would go to the mat for to make up this shit? And I'll tell you, he certainly didn't go to the mat for the fucking children who had to have closed casket funerals after Sandy Hook. As a matter of fact, the exact opposite. This motherfucker went to great lengths to undermine the reality that the parents were telling about what had happened to their children. I think somebody. I just saw it go by, and I think it gave me an idea. Hashtag the prick was nicked. I think Alex, with his prickly pear conversation, has given us all, and I think that's what would hashtag the prick was nicked. He wasn't shot. His ear wasn't blown off. He wasn't hit by a bullet. He was grazed by a bullet. Again, it does not undermine the fact that somebody attempted to assassinate him. It does, obviously, the word assassinate. Because I think it does apply more that it was an attempted mass shooting, that this guy did not seem to give that much of a shit about who he was shooting at. He picked Trump because he didn't like him, didn't think he was a real conservative, and harbored some kind of a grudge, but he would have shot Biden as well. We know this about this guy now, but he was a registered Republican, so he prioritized shooting at Trump. Doesn't change the fact that this was Republican on Republican crime. But the prick was nicked. He wasn't shot. The prick was nicked. There you go. Hashtag the prick was nicked. That said, love you, chat room. We don't need to watch any more of that because it's just madness.